Welcome, everybody, to a Down Under Centre Migrating to Australia podcast. My name's Wes Zan, and I'm joined by Roger and Liz. So, Roger and Liz, welcome.
Thank
Hi
you.
there.
So, this is our first podcast, Roger and Liz, where we're actually interviewing parents that have made the journey over to Australia. So, I guess we'll start a little bit about where are you guys from originally?
We live in Derby. We were living in Derby.
Which is about as far from the coast in England as you can get in any direction.
Gotcha. So, for you guys to be eligible for a parent visa, you actually have to meet requirements and have more than 50% of your children living in Australia. So, do you how many kids do you guys have?
We've got two children. Our our daughter, moved over here 11 years ago now, and she's now taken all her PR and citizenship. And our son decided he was going to come and join her in 2020 after we'd been here on a family holiday.
Wow! And did you come with so your son Robert and his partner Kat, and they've got a daughter called Poppy. They're in South Australia. So when they came over on the holiday, Liz, did you guys all come over as a family, or did they come over separately, or were you with them when they first came over?
No, we came out as a family. It was a big sort of family holiday. It was my 60th birthday.
40th wedding anniversary.
40th wedding anniversary. Rob and Kat were coming out before Poppy started school. That was the other thing. So we all had a family get together, and we stayed. We did our own things, but we had a week in Noosa together as a family, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, nice.
And then, of course, we hit lockdown and all of that. And our first get together after lockdown was on Father's Day in 2020 when Rob and Kat announced that they were going to try and get over here to live.
Yeah,
which was a bit of a shocker, but
you say that shocker word, Liz. So they announced it at that point, and were you guys aware that you guys had an option of actually moving to Australia on a permanent basis at that point?
Do you know what? I'm not sure. We hadn't looked into it, but I think our first thoughts were that if they were going and we'd have two children over here, we'd try and follow them because that's our family. And we'd got Poppy and we've got another grandchild at that point, Rafi.
And both our parents are both passed on now, so there was nothing really to keep us in the UK.
And Roger, was it an easy decision? I mean, you worded it like, your family's moving over and all that, but were you thinking like, was that part of your and Liz's retirement plan to be in Derby, or was it a shock to go, actually, our plans have changed, now we're moving to Australia?
No, basically, our daughter decided she was going to come here, and we gave her full support. But because our son stayed in Derby, we always said we would never choose between one and the other.
Yep.
And it would have always felt if we'd have moved here before Robert moved, we would have been choosing her, if that makes sense.
100%.
So as soon as Robert said they were coming, we basically said we'll be on the plane as soon as we can afterwards, because we'd seen all these home and away programs where parents and families burst into tears, and that just makes it harder for the kids. Mm-hmm. So we really decided to make it as easy as possible for the kids.
Yeah.
Oh, good stuff. And how long have you guys been in Australia for now?
Just under 18 months. We came out in May 2023, didn't we? Started.
Wow. And how have you adjusted, Liz? You've adjusted well to life in Australia?
Yeah, I think we have. I think we've got... we're quite settled. We've got our house now, and we brought the dog over. That was a big part of coming over here. We're not in a hurry to go back, so I hope they don't decide that we can't keep our visa.
Yeah, that would be a negative. Or you'll have Philippa and Robert obviously having to decide then, aren't they, if they're going to head back?
We're going to be beat up down under centre.
Yeah, that's it. Well, you can fight Lisa, mate. Not me. But no, that's really exciting, guys. So whereabouts exactly are you based?
We bought a house in Seaford Rise, and we've been
in South Australia.
Yeah, just south of Adelaide.
And we've been in it just on a year now.
They're just south of Lisa, because Lisa's in Noarlunga, I think.
Yep, she is. She is. And okay, so you got your house and everything. So did you? I assume you guys owned a property back in the UK.
Oh, yes, we did. We had a house that we'd lived in for 42 years, so we've been there a long time. We had a lot of sorting out to do, trust me.
I bet. I bet. And Liz, that's
An
that's a that's the family home and everything like that. That would have been pretty hard saying goodbye. Saying goodbye to that.
I don't think it was. Our son, having gone through the same process, said, as you take pictures down off the walls, it becomes less of your house.
Okay.
As soon as you move furniture out, it becomes even less of your house because it becomes 4 brick walls.
It's no longer a home, it is a house, isn't it? So by the time you've done it all and you've got everything out, you've made all those decisions and all of that. You start, as soon as you know that you're going to move and somebody else is going to be in it, it's not you have to go, well, it's their house now. And when somebody came to look round and she said, well, could I do this? I went, well, it'll be your house. You can do what you like with it.
Yeah. Just give a perspective on this, Liz and Roger. Do you guys mind disclosing how old you guys are?
Luckily, COVID helped us, because if we'd have come out pre-COVID, I wouldn't have been 66 and a half, which is one of the requirements for the 804 visa.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I'm now 69 and you're 64.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Well done. And so the transition, with your ages and everything like that, the adjusting, when we do the podcast, guys, we interview people about adjusting, maybe, we've interviewed people, that started on working holiday visas that have stayed in Australia. We've got young families that are moving, that are saying goodbye to grandparents and everything like that. You're the first. I'm excited about this podcast because you're the first people I get to interview to get sort of what it's like being grandparents, I guess, in the older age group, migrating, and then how you find adjusting. Like, was it, is it hard adjusting and everything like that?
I think that one of the very first things that we found strange, really, is that you can, having lived in Mickleover for 42 years, you could walk out, go to the shops, you'd always see somebody that you know, and you're suddenly in an area and you actually don't know anybody. Every face, no face is familiar.
Yeah, I
and
think
that's one of the hardest bits.
Yeah, I think the thing is, if you're a younger person and you're at work or you've got children at school, you actually are exposed to other people of your age. Whereas at our age, we don't get that daily contact. So we both play tennis at a local tennis club. I've started playing walking football.
We joined the community garden as well, didn't we? Because that was a great way for finding out about gardening here, because it's very different. I mean, in the UK, whoever knew that you had to use wetting agent on your lawn? It's never a problem in the UK. You don't ever have to wet your garden.
So Roger, what football are you playing, mate?
Walking football. It's a nationwide group. So it's not formal. It's whoever turns up on a Wednesday morning or a Sunday morning or a Monday night just gets given a bib and you go out and walk for 2 hours. I mean, this morning I did 13,500 steps in 2 hours.
Oh, good on you. And
so it's a bit of feisty. There's a bit of pom. There's quite a few poms in it. There's quite a few Australians, and it's supposed to be non-contact, but
there is. You're not allowed to run, though, are you?
Yeah, you're not allowed to run. That's the one thing.
What happens if you run, mate? What do they do?
You give you a free kick away. So there's a bit of dubious refereeing, but it's really good fun. And then
sorry, mate. I was just going to ask, would you have considered doing that back in the UK?
No, because one thing we found really positive here is the leisure side of so many tennis courts, netball courts, basketball courts, sports facilities you can just walk onto. They don't exist in the UK.
Well, you played
Yeah.
golf, didn't you, in the
Yeah,
UK? And we haven't. And I used to play in the. We've brought the clubs over, but the further nearest we've got so far since we've been here is the driving range, and we took Poppy to the driving range a couple of weeks ago, didn't we?
yeah. So I think that's the really positive is you have longer days because the sun is out longer, or the daylight is longer. Like in winter in the UK, come 3:30, it's dark and cold and wet. Even in daylight saving here, is it daylight
Yeah.
saving?
No, non-daylight
Non-daylight saving. It's still light and warm into 5, 6 o'clock at night, so you have longer days.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think just the general buzz. If you go to a coffee shop here, there's a buzz about it. People are chatting and laughing.
People generally are happier because it's sunnier and brighter and nicer, and it's not as dank and dismal as the UK.
Yeah. It's really cool to hear that. Like, I'm so proud of you guys. Well, whatever, proud's maybe not the right word, but just happy, I guess, that you've been able to engage and get started with it. But was it hard at the start? Was there a few months when you first got here going, oh, did you just
I,
have
I think,
Yeah.
conversations like, gee, get this right?
yeah, I think what happened was as soon as we knew we were coming, I joined your website, your podcasts or whatever. I joined lots of Facebook pages, and I just wrote down lists of all the things I knew I'd got to do or we'd got to do to make this a success.
Well done,
So
mate.
with my old hat on, I drew up a mind map, which is
Yep.
just a way of listing things down. And out of that, I drew up a project plan.
Yep.
And I did one for the UK actions and one for Australia actions. So we'd actually got an idea of the hurdles we were going to cross.
I think the first 3 months were definitely quite difficult because we didn't have a base. So we stayed, when we first came over, we stayed with Philippa and we stayed with friends that we'd got in Melbourne. And then we came over here to Adelaide and we did an Airbnb for 3 weeks. Then we went back to Melbourne. Then we came back to Adelaide and got another Airbnb.
So we started
until
off
we
from
moved
scratch
the
of
house.
having no bank account, no telephone, no car.
Yeah, so it's getting all of those things, and you found it. I mean, Rog did the bulk of the work, and it was stressful. I can't say it wasn't. I think the one thing that probably kept us grounded was having the dog, because we could take the dog for a walk on the beach.
And people talk to you. If you've got a dog, people talk to you. And I
Yeah.
think it is that mindset of saying, we've heard various people say, oh, you can't get Heinz brown sauce. Well, blow it. You're in another country now. You eat what they eat.
The only thing I can't find is decent hollandaise sauce. That's all I can't find. I'm going to have to learn to make it. But, I think, and Kat said that.
Yeah.
She said, don't think about what you can't, what there isn't. Just look at it as it's different and what there is. And, she's had a very positive view on it, and she's passed that on to us as well, hasn't she?
Yeah.
So I think you've just,
But
we've been positive about it the whole way. We've never thought, I wish we hadn't done it.
No.
Ever.
what about the Yorkshire puddings, Liz? Are you making them or are you buying them?
I have made some Yorkshire puddings, yes.
We even found a
My
shop
wife
yesterday
does that.
that did
Freezes them.
a really nice Cornish pasty that looked like a Cornish pasty and almost tasted like one.
Oh, geez. What's it going? You have to do a name drop on that one, mate. Do you remember the shop?
It's near
I know
Wood and Logs in
Seaford
Seaford.
Road. It's on Seaford
There
Road.
you go. Well, mate, hopefully they sort you out with a few, mate, by doing a few name dropping. And Roger, you said before that you jumped on sort of like, we had like, we've got Facebook groups, websites and podcasts and all that. Were you, I guess, using that, like those sort of sites and that before, while you're in the UK, or was that something you had to also learn as well?
No, it was definitely in the UK. So with my mindset, it was I need to have a plan of what I need to do in what order. Like it was like we had a caravan in Whitby, sell the caravan. We had 2 cars, sell a car. We started the process of selling the house pre-November. Then we had a medical problem. So we held that off till January because we daren't get COVID because that would have messed, because of the medical problem, that would have really thrown everything into mire. So we
Yep.
put the house on the market almost Christmas, Boxing Day, early January. And luckily we found a couple that were in rental accommodation, and they were single first time buyers.
We were so lucky with the house.
Yeah.
It all went absolutely to
Perfect.
clockwork, didn't it?
We had a
Yeah, that's
time
good.
frame that said the dog was picked up by Pet Air on the Monday and taken down to a very expensive kennels with the Queen on Monday night at Windsor.
Yeah.
He then flew to Singapore and had 24 hours in Singapore.
And we do reckon he must have travelled first class.
Yeah, because of the cost. But Tuesday we had PSS removals, and they started packing everything on the Tuesday, and they left on the Wednesday. They were brilliant. We had one item broke
Out of 150 boxes.
Yeah, out of a 20-foot container, we had one item damaged.
Yeah, and they were going
Pretty
to both
good.
ends. They unpacked it as well.
Jenny helped us because we couldn't ship the furniture until we got our visa. So basically, we were in Australia before we could get approval to ship the furniture.
Yep.
So that was Tuesday, Wednesday. The dog left us Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday, packing the furniture. Thursday, clearing the house out, and we moved into a hotel for Thursday night, Friday night. Saturday afternoon, we met up with all our friends, or the friends that were available in a local pub, and then
flew out to Birmingham
Saturday night.
What were your mates thinking, Liz and Roger? Were they like thinking you guys are nuts heading to Australia, or were they like, hey, I wish we could do it?
I think they were just glad to get rid of us, to be honest.
I think one or two said we were brave, and I think we put total trust in you guys, because we arrived here on a visitor's visa, having sold our house. Our dog was in Australia. Our furniture was following us. We'd made the jump.
Yeah.
There was nothing to go back to.
I think going back to the friends, I think all our friends, probably thought we were brave. I think.
Yeah, one or two said we were brave.
But everybody was supportive, wasn't it? And even those I've actually got one of my best friend coming out in January, coming out for 2 weeks, so that'll be nice. So
and in your new place, Liz, you got somewhere for them to sleep? Are you like one of those people? You're going to be the people that when mates visit and everything, they got accommodation sorted and all that as well?
Yeah, I mean, they're going to stay with us. We've got a spare bedroom, so
we've been through the hoop now. The house, we've had a kitchen done, we've had the bathrooms replaced, we've had various electrics done. That was a difficult bit. A lot of the jobs I would have done myself in the UK, and I don't know the regulations here, and we had no lines of contact that could give us trusted people, if that makes sense.
Yep.
I think one of the things that Roger really regrets on this is that when you pack up all your stuff, there's some stuff that you bring and you think, why did I bring that? And other stuff that you got rid of, especially on your tools and things, wasn't it? That you really regret that you didn't bring with you because you've had to buy. I hate the word of Bunnings. I hate Bunnings. He gave away to one of his mates loads and loads of tie wraps, and then we got here and had to buy the damn things.
Yeah, it's always the
way.
So
I would definitely recommend to anybody. We spent a lot of time cleaning all my tools with Jay's fluid and all that, and we had no problems with PSS coming through. I would have brought more tools over because we assumed we were buying a newer house, and because of the price and because of FIRB, that's trebled in price since we arrived, and the extra tax we had to pay would have been very difficult now. So that sort of set the tone of the house we could buy, which meant it needed more work doing.
It's like everything. You have to cut your cloth according to what you've got, don't you? And we started off with these ideas that we'd have a 4-bedroom modern
two garage,
But then when we looked at them, we actually decided we wanted more garden space than they would offer us. And we couldn't afford the 4-bedroom. So we've gone down to a 3-bedroom, but we've got a garage at the back that's been transformed into a So it gives us another living space. And then we've got this big outdoor area here that's 6x6 with a roof, and we've had blinds fitted, so that's great. So you just do things
And
differently.
and Liz and Roger, so when you guys sold the property and everything like that, and you may have had savings, again, you don't have to answer these questions, just, you can if you want. Did you come out of it like thinking, well, hang on, we broke the bank a little bit by getting this place and everything like that, or did it all sort of work out with the currency that you would have got selling the house and everything like that?
Because I was a project manager, I had a spreadsheet.
Yeah. Roger, do you
So,
want a job, mate? I think I need you on board with me.
so basically, all the way through, we were budgeting as we were going along. So we'd got, and we used your lady that's on your
I think the biggest thing
Oh,
was
Leslie.
Leslie. Yeah,
she's been brilliant.
that was a worrying bit.
When you sell your house and ship the money over here, that was scary, wasn't it?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're shipping sort of £400,000 via somebody you've never met.
We always
Yeah.
called Leslie the money launderer. That was our nickname for her, the money launderer. And actually, the banks in the UK were very, very wary of us setting up. They wouldn't transfer the money initially, would they? They were,
No.
which is good. They were looking at, do you know this person? Have they asked you to do this type of thing?
And I think the other thing that we almost fell foul of, we needed, what was it? We needed proof that we were actually English residents.
Oh, that was for Medicare. We got our Medicare
Yeah.
the first time, and because the visa are on, we have to renew Medicare annually, which is a right pain in the backside. And when we did it the second time this year, they came
changed
back
the rules.
to us. They changed the rules since last year, and they now needed to know that we were actually
We got reciprocal agreement because we lived in the UK.
and that we lived in the UK. So we didn't actually. We had to scratch around to find proof that
We'd
the
actually
type
got
of proof that they would accept of bank accounts or gas bills and things to show that we actually had been resident in the UK. So
that nearly tripped us up because we managed to plan for what we knew, and it's the trips that you don't understand.
Australia are quite good at changing the rules.
Yeah. So
you start off on one plan. So it's like with the dog. We started off on one plan with the dog, and I won't bore you with the details, but then they changed the rules.
And it screwed us up completely.
It really confused us. And then
The quarantining of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but the vets and everything.
They changed it from you could have it for 2 years. Then they dropped it down to 12 months. And we were just on the cusp. Anyway, we'd done everything we needed to, so we got that done.
If anybody's coming over with a pet, that is your critical path, because you have to have it tested for rabies a certain amount of time before you fly, and then you've got a certain amount of time after the test has been approved. And I can't remember the rules now because they changed. But anybody that's coming over with a pet, check with your vets first, and that will set your time frame.
And make sure. I think the other thing is make sure you've got somebody else that you know that could look after the pet in between.
Yeah,
because that's what we didn't have anybody at that point, did we? Because they were both over here.
Yeah, so I think that's the worrying thing. Plan for what you can plan, but things change, and you just have to. I'm a born worrier, really am. And there were times it was quite stressful, but
yeah, it is. It's the most it's horrible. Like, firstly, you say goodbye to Philippa and that, and they moved to Melbourne. Then 10 years later, and that then Rob and Kat decide to Rob and Kat decide to move over, and then you guys make the plunge, guys. That's none of this is easy. It's all it's emotional. It's expensive. You got the transition. You've always got that in your back of your mind. If I made the right choice and everything. But I was going to go back a bit, Roger. You said, initially when Philippa moved over to Melbourne, you would stick it out while Rob was there and in Derby, etc. Then when you decided to move to Oz, they're in different states. So what made you move to South Australia compared to Melbourne?
We could only afford a beach hut in Melbourne.
Okay.
The house
is
fair answer.
The house prices. I mean, Philippa just moved. She moved out of 2 bed just as last
Just as we
August.
moved arrived, wasn't it?
She moved out of a 2 bedroom unit in Melbourne, and we couldn't have afforded to buy her 2 bedroom unit, and we've got a 3 bedroom detached house here.
And whereabouts
I
in
think the
Melbourne
other
is
thing,
she?
Well, she was in
Bon Beach, is
Mordialloc.
it?
Okay, that's a nice
Bombay.
place.
She was in Mordialloc.
Yeah,
Now she's moved to Bon Beach.
yeah. So, and
Oh
I
yeah.
think we'd been to Adelaide for a week's holiday when we were over on a previous family visit, and it just seems a lower key, more friendly. It's easy to get to the beaches. It's easy to get to the vineyards. Whereas in Melbourne's a bit more like London.
Melbourne's a
Yep.
big city.
And we're not. Derby is a small city. It's provincial.
I mean, to be fair, we haven't been north of Adelaide, so
No,
I don't know what it's like, and I believe it's more built up and more north. But the south side of it is great, certainly.
Perfect. Liz, I might get you to move just a little bit more closer to the microphone just to make sure we've got.
Sorry.
No, all good, all good. To make sure the listeners can hear because you've given some awesome advice and it's a great story you guys are sharing with us for sure. So, okay, so we've spoken about the dog a few times. Got to ask, what's the dog's name and what breed is it?
He's called Guinness. You can explain why.
yeah, he's a black Labrador.
Yep,
So if you think of the drink Guinness,
yep.
he's got a very strong black body, but he's very
Mm-hmm.
frothy in the head.
Okay, nice, 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 nice. And what about the we spoke about not being able to get certain food and all that sort of stuff. What about your beer and that? Have you chosen a beer, Roger? Are you sort of sipping on certain
I,
type, or are you
I'm
still
not a,
exploring?
I'm not a big drinker, full stop. So um, no, we haven't.
No.
We've invested in a couple of electric push bikes on the basis we can cycle down to McLaren Vale on a cycle track that probably won't have any police speed and drink traps on it.
You
Yeah,
have to just watch out for the wild kangas.
Yeah, I nearly got wiped out by a kangaroo the other week.
you
It
won't
came
win if
out
you
of
hit
a
one of
vineyard.
them.
I know it was a big one. Come straight out of the vineyard as I was going down the hill. So no, again, you can't look back. You have got to go and say beer is different in Australia.
It's a bit like
Mm-hmm.
saying bacon.
Yeah, bacon is different. But
Well,
if you look back and you harp back, you will never move forward.
yeah, I agree. I definitely agree
So
with that one. Any other differences between the UK and Oz, Roger and Liz, that you guys would like stand out? Obviously we've got the weather. We mentioned that one. Is there anything else?
space,
Lifestyle, people.
I think it's everything, really. Yeah, I mean, you've got the space, you've got the
green areas.
yeah. Everybody's positive. I think you go to the shops and it's all this. I always thought in the States it was a bit cheesy. Have a nice day, but
Yeah,
here it feels friendly. People are friendly in the shops. It's nearly like
it's a place.
service industry is not a dirty word here like it is in the UK. I
I
don't
think
think.
generally the people we've encountered have been friendly. Even young people. The first time I tried to ride my bike, having had a hip operation a while ago, I nearly fell off it. And this young lad going the other way stopped and actually asked me if I was all right and did I need help.
Yeah.
And then the other day I was taking the dog for a walk and a young, I don't know how they were, 13, 14-year-old stopped and said, "Have a nice day, mate." Well, you wouldn't get that in the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's
Yeah.
positive,
It's
it's
nice, isn't it?
bubbly.
and I think one of the things that maybe a lot of people of our age, one thing that's been slightly going off track is the health side of things that you're always worried about.
Okay.
Because they tell you that we have reciprocal agreements. And there are. But you don't get everything isn't free like it would be in the UK, but you pay and you get to see a doctor
Yeah,
or you get things done. So it's a lot quicker, isn't it?
yeah. I mean, I was a bit worried about some backache the other day. I phoned the doctor on the Monday morning. The receptionist was extremely apologetic. The doctor couldn't see me that day, but they
Yeah.
booked me in the next day. I saw the doctor in the morning, and he said, or she said, I think we better just give you an ECG. Oh, sorry, the nurse is a bit busy at the moment. Can you pop back this afternoon? So I popped back that afternoon, and by 4 o'clock, the doctor had phoned me again and said, "You're all right. Your heart's okay." So
That's
within
awesome.
48 hours, I'd gone through the loop and come out.
So you pay for your medication, and some medicines are more expensive than
Yeah.
others. But, that's one of the downsides, if you like. But then in the UK, if you talk to anybody about their health and about getting doctor's treatment and things, we don't appreciate how much medicines cost in the UK anyway.
Mhm.
But I think it's a worry. And Roger alluded to the fact that we'd had a health scare. Well, I've been referred on to the hospital, got seen there straight away, didn't I?
Yeah.
And that was good. So yeah, it's all that helps you. I think it's
Yeah.
those sort of things that it's difficult to find information on when you're looking online.
Yeah, it's like this is the first year I've had to do a tax return properly,
Tax,
and
there's a
that is a real pain because you have to get this reciprocal tax that they call it. I can't remember what the exact word is, but there's a reciprocal agreement in tax terms between the UK and Australia. I sent off the forms that I needed to Australia Tax, and they came back with a 10-month validity, which didn't cover the financial year. So I've got to go through that loop again. So it's all.
I think the other thing that's tricky. This is probably our most difficult year because we came over. So we've got we've had 3 months of British tax to pay, and then we go on to Australian tax.
And I've been paying Australian tax, English tax, all the way through the year.
And of course, your tax here starts in July, doesn't it? Whereas in the UK it starts in April. So it's a little bit of a mix and match, isn't it? That's
So-
one of the tricks.
So while the king's here in Australia at the moment, Roger is not chasing you for his taxes, mate. You're free.
I
from
don't
him?
think so.
You got it all sorted?
No, I think so.
Perhaps we ought to speak to him though, so that we could get your pension increase.
Yeah,
once you move to Australia, Roger's pension, UK pension, is the same amount until he dies, basically.
State pension.
Whereas if he lived in the EU, he'd get increases, which is why we came out at the end of April into May, because you got
I got a 12% pay rise on my state pension. If I'd have come out in April, I wouldn't have got it.
Wow, that's good. That's important. That's huge.
Yeah, and that's literally why we came out in May, because we knew inflation was high. We knew the state pension was going to be equivalent to the inflation. So,
and we knew we wouldn't get it increased.
And you don't get it increased once your state pension, once you're here, stays fixed.
Yeah.
You know, your works pensions go up. So it's just something you need to be aware of when you're planning your long-term cash flow.
Yeah, well done. And with this spreadsheet of yours, was that in the spreadsheet, or you just sort of like obviously added in as you went along as you found out new things, or you were pretty accurate with your initial assessment?
I got a spreadsheet in the UK that projected our balance for the next 10 years. So I'd sort of said for the next 5 years, we'll be going to Australia. This was before we knew we were coming. We'd be going to Australia, which would cost us so much a year, and we'd have to have a new car there. So I'd projected it going forward. And then when we came here, as I got more knowledge about the difference in prices here, then I started filtering those into the spreadsheet.
I think the one thing that's been in our favour that the cost, the dollar
exchange rate,
the exchange rate has been in our favour. So we're getting more. I think when we came over in 2022 on holiday, I think it was about 1.6. Was it 1.7?
1.7-ish, and now it's 1.95 or something.
So, guys, do you get like a pension like monthly or weekly from the UK, or do they just give you like a lump sum?
No, we get it we get it 4 weekly from our works pension.
No, you do, I don't.
And then monthly from the state pension or something. So roughly every 4 weeks. And
you don't get weekly pensions.
No.
Or in the UK.
So what I do is I just keep an eye on the exchange rate, and as soon as it's looking fairly good, I get in touch with Leslie and say, whip over this, and within 24 hours, she's normally sent it across, and we've got a good rate out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good. And guys, what's the like? So what do we got? You're in Adelaide, so it's what 2:15 in the day. So you finish this podcast. What do you guys get up to for the rest of the day?
Well,
Babysitting.
this afternoon, we're hot footing it down the coast to go and pick Poppy up from school so we can take her to a tennis lesson.
Ah, very good. And in your day, like a normal day, like is it around Poppy and your grandkid and your kids and that, or do you get a lot of time to do what you guys want to do as well?
No, mostly what we want to do. We're not here to take over the kids' lives. They've got their own lives to lead. I mean, we see Rob and Kat quite a bit, and we've been over to Melbourne, obviously. But
we usually take the dog for a walk in the morning, and then we'll come back and we might do a bit. We've done various jobs on the house, or the garden was pretty well neglected completely, so we've redone the garden and we've bought loads of
we've done the garden.
plants and
with having the things like the tennis and the walking football, and you're at the gym, aren't you?
I'm doing art again. I'm doing watercolor painting again. Yeah. So
that's
and
awesome.
I do craft
you do craft stuff. So
like landscapes or portraits, Roger?
Landscapes.
Oh, nice. I would like to see him do a portrait.
No, that would not be acceptable. But so we keep busy. We've
even been reading, haven't we?
Yeah, we joined the local library. So we're trying to put ourselves out in the community.
Yep. It sounds like you've made a really good success of your journey. What tips or advice would you give to people looking to come over on the parent visa, guys?
Plan.
Yeah.
Prepare.
Research.
Yeah. Know what you're doing and what you're coming to. Maybe the one thing that probably we didn't do as well as we could have done was to find out the tax side of things before we came. And if I was doing that again, I think we'd have taken more advice and preparation on that.
I think the other thing is you've got to sell it to your relatives and friends so that they don't make it difficult for you.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. You don't want that extra burden on your shoulders.
We've both got, I've got a brother and sister still in the UK, and you've got a brother, haven't you? But we've never been a family that live in one another's pockets. So I think, we keep our space, and that makes it easier in some ways.
Yeah.
But everybody has been supportive. Nobody said, don't do it.
No.
But just prepare. Prepare really and know what's in it. I think we've come over, we don't regret it at all, and we get to see, Philippa's now got 2 children, and we get to see them.
They think we're no longer 2 millimeters thick on the other side of an iPad.
Yeah, so we get to see them. We spent last Christmas with them, which was great, which we wouldn't have done, and we'll do this Christmas with them and all get together.
Do they come up to South Australia, or are you coming down to Melbourne?
They're coming over here because it gives them a holiday in a way. They can get to the beach and do something different. And it's when you've got your longer holidays, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
No, it's exciting. So, Well, Roger and Liz, I just want to thank you for being amazing clients of the Down Under Centre. It's nice when you can migrate a whole family to Australia, which is good. And, but the tips and the advice you've given, we'll make sure we share this on the on our private Facebook group for our parents as well. I think you'll get a lot of that. You probably might even get a few messages, mate, asking you for your spreadsheet. I'm tipping Roger because
I've already had one from a couple in the northeast. I think they were, and we've shared a bit of information. They're now on their way over, I think.
Yeah,
it's the Aussie spirit, mate, isn't it? It is. If you can give a little bit and you get back. That's why we set the private Facebook groups up so people could learn and just help each other, because I think at the end of the day, everyone appreciates the journey that you go through. And if you can make it easier and pass on this information, it's just so much better, isn't it, for everybody involved.
So, yeah, we're quite open to anybody pinging us an email and saying, what did you learn on this, or how did that go, or and without any pressure. You guys as a collective have been really good. None of your associates have let us down. Buying the house was terrifying.
Oh, we did use a buyer's agent, didn't we, when we bought the house,
Catherine,
just to give us a bit of confidence.
That is a real mind blower.
System.
You get 15 minutes to look around the house, and then you put a bid in, then you got 2 days, and it's yours. That
Wow,
is
how come you did it that way?
horrendous.
What do you mean?
We turned up for open houses, and basically you get whatever time the open house is there to look round it, and then we basically
You have to put your offer in,
put
don't
your
you?
offer in, and then Catherine handled that for us. We put the offer in. So we saw that the house we're in now. We saw it Saturday afternoon.
Yeah.
And she was here. We asked her to put an offer in. She put the offer in Saturday night, and then Sunday morning she phoned us to say the offer had been accepted, and we got 2 days to get the surveys and everything done, and basically put the deposit down.
And then once it's after 5 days, it's sort of
you're frozen. You're in.
Is scary in one bit, because at the time we were looking, there weren't many houses on the market, and there was a lot of people. You went to some houses and there were so many people looking round. However, you contrast that to the UK, and we've got friends in the UK that have just been selling their house. They've had it on the market since last November, and
they've just signed the contract.
Just signed
hopefully
the contracts yesterday.
Wow, 12 months,
so that's
mate.
a very
Crazy.
long process, and you, until you sign your contract in the UK, it could change at any time.
I think the thing is, you have to look at what you're looking at when you walk into a house. You look round and you'll see a telly against a wall, and you think, oh, that's where you can put the telly. Then you look a bit closer, and there's no socket behind it. So the house has been dressed.
I mean, they do
to sell it.
They do have they have more than one open at the houses. But you have to move pretty fast. That's the thing.
You have to know what you're looking at. We had a criteria of what we wanted in a house,
and we met most of that.
And we met it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's so good, isn't it? It's good to have a good understanding. It's important.
Yeah.
So, and we'd only ever lived in 2 houses in the UK. We lived in the first one for 2 years and the second one for 42 years or something.
Yeah.
That's crazy. So it's this whole new experience. That's what I guess what you're getting at, isn't it? It's that challenging side of buying a house as well when you're set and everything.
Yeah.
But again, guys, it's been a really good podcast, and I just want to thank you both for making the time for this to happen.
You're welcome.
It's been awesome. So, guys, a massive thank you to Roger and Liz for making this podcast happen, and tune into the next one. And guys, we'll let's catch up in a year and a bit and see what life's like on the next podcast. What do you reckon?
Yeah, that sounds fine.
Yeah, no worries.
Good on you guys.
Enjoy the rest of your day. Bye.
See you later, guys. Guys, tune in for the next podcast. Thank you very much.